May 28, 2016, started like any other Saturday at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden. Visitors filled the paths, unaware of the tragedy to come. Harambe, a 17-year-old Western lowland gorilla, was a centerpiece of the Gorilla World exhibit, admired for his power and presence. The atmosphere turned from wonder to horror when a 3-year-old boy climbed over a 3-foot railing and through a barrier of bushes. The child fell 15 feet into the shallow water of the gorilla's habitat. Onlookers screamed as they realized what had happened. Harambe's initial interactions with the boy were a mixture of curious observation and sudden, unpredictable movements that concerned zoo staff. Zoo staff ultimately made the difficult call to shoot Harambe with a rifle to save the child, as they believed a tranquilizer would not act fast enough. The incident ignited a massive firestorm of controversy and transformed Harambe into an enduring internet icon. Harambe's story remains a somber reminder of the complex and often tragic relationship between humans and the wild. On May 28, 2016, a single incident at the Cincinnati Zoo sparked a global firestorm that still resonates today. This is the story of Harambe. It began when a 3-year-old boy climbed over a barrier and fell into the gorilla enclosure, home to a 17-year-old Western lowland gorilla named Harambe. For 10 minutes, the world watched as Harambe interacted with the child. The zoo's response team had to make a critical decision in seconds. Fearing for the child's safety, officials shot Harambe. The child survived, but the death of the gorilla ignited an unprecedented global outcry. In an instant, Harambe became a symbol. Millions signed petitions, and the incident dominated news cycles and social media feeds for months. The first major debate centered on zoo safety. How could a toddler bypass a barrier designed to keep humans and wild animals separate? Public anger also turned toward the parents. Questions about supervision and parental responsibility fueled heated discussions across every platform. For animal rights activists, the tragedy highlighted the ethical questions of keeping wild animals in captivity for human entertainment. Western lowland gorillas are critically endangered. To many, Harambe was a symbol of a species we are struggling to protect in the wild. Experts were divided. Some argued Harambe's behavior was protective, while others insisted the risk to the child was too great to ignore. Unexpectedly, Harambe took on a second life online. He became one of the most persistent and versatile memes in internet history. From sincere tributes to viral humor, the Harambe meme became a way for a generation to process tragedy through a digital lens. But while the memes proliferated, the core ethical questions remained. Did the viral humor distract from the serious issues raised? Since 2016, zoos around the world have reevaluated their safety protocols and exhibit designs to prevent similar tragedies. The incident also drove a surge in donations to gorilla conservation funds, turning a moment of grief into a benefit for wild gorillas. At its heart, the Harambe story is about the complex values we hold when human life and nature intersect in our modern world. Tributes left at the Cincinnati Zoo reflected a deep collective sadness over the loss of such a majestic and powerful animal. Harambe's story continues to remind us of our responsibility toward the creatures we share this planet with, long after the headlines fade. The debates he ignited have led to better safety and a more critical look at animal welfare worldwide. Thanks for joining us. Harambe spent his entire life in captivity, never experiencing the wild forest that his ancestors knew. Born at the Gladys Porter Zoo in 1999, he was a Western lowland gorilla, a species born for the African canopy. For 17 years, Harambe's world was defined not by the jungle, but by the boundaries of stone and steel. His early years in Texas were spent growing under the watchful eyes of keepers who saw his incredible potential. He was named Harambe, a Swahili word meaning pulling together, a name that would eventually echo worldwide. As he grew, he began to exhibit the strength and nobility that characterized the great silverbacks of his kind. He was more than an exhibit. He was a sentient being with a complex, social, and deeply engaging personality. Those close to him saw a gorilla who was remarkably intelligent and deeply curious about the world around him. Despite his power, there was often a surprising gentleness in his interactions with his troop. In 2014, Harambe moved to the Cincinnati Zoo as part of a crucial global species survival plan. There, he became a leader, a majestic protector whose primary role was to ensure the safety of his family. Life in a modern zoo is a mixture of specialized care and the inescapable routine of a public life. While zoos provide a sanctuary from threats, they also present the challenge of life in confinement. For a creature designed to roam vast distances, an enclosure is a silent compromise between safety and freedom. Harambe was a window into a world most would never see, and a reminder of the distance between us. His name became known globally in May 2016, following events that would change everything forever. A high-stakes situation forced a heart-wrenching decision after a child entered his enclosure. To ensure the child's safety, Harambe was fatally shot, sending shockwaves of grief across the globe. The event sparked intense debates about animal rights and the ethical implications of captivity. Harambe became an unlikely cultural icon, his image appearing across every corner of the digital world. Beyond the noise, his story refocused attention on the plight of gorillas in the wild. They are critically endangered, facing threats from illegal hunting and habitat loss. Every year, thousands of acres of forest vanish, leaving them with fewer places to thrive. Harambe's legacy is a call to action for conservation and a reflection on our global responsibility. Every captive animal is an ambassador for their wild cousins, deserving of our utmost respect. Let us strive for a future where his kind can live freely in the forests they call home. Let us remember him not just for his end, but for the beauty and grace he brought to the world. His story continues to inspire a deeper connection to the wild and a commitment to our natural heritage. The hope remains for a world where majestic beings are celebrated and allowed to exist in peace. Thank you for remembering Harambe. Together, we can build a brighter future for all wildlife. Welcome. Today, we delve into the life of Harambe at the Cincinnati Zoo, a story of conservation and companionship. The Cincinnati Zoo became Harambe's home in 2014, where he joined a vital community of western lowland gorillas. He was a key participant in the Species Survival Plan, a program dedicated to protecting endangered species through managed breeding. In his new home, Harambe lived with two females, Chewy and Mara, forming a small but significant social group. The trio developed a bond that was essential for their well-being and the success of the zoo's conservation mission. Harambe's presence was more than just social. His genetics were crucial for the long-term health of his species. The gorilla world habitat provided them with a space designed to mimic their natural environment in the wild. Their daily lives involved foraging, social play, and constant care from dedicated zoo staff. Experts monitored their health and interactions round the clock to ensure the group thrived. Scientific research conducted here informs conservation efforts across the globe. The goal is to ensure that western lowland gorillas have a future, both in zoos and in the wild. Harambe served as an ambassador, teaching thousands of visitors about the importance of wildlife protection. Seeing these majestic creatures up close inspires a connection that books and videos simply cannot match. Harambe's impressive stature and intelligence left a lasting impression on everyone who met him. As the silverback, he led his group with a presence that was both powerful and protective. Chewy, the older of the two females, brought stability and experience to the group's social dynamic. Mara's youthful energy provided a balance, keeping the trio active and engaged with one another. Though his time was cut short, Harambe's genetic legacy continues to be a part of the conservation conversation. Every success in the breeding program is a step toward saving this incredible species from extinction. Today, we remember Harambe not just for the events of 2016, but for the life he lived and the mission he served. You can honor his legacy by supporting your local zoo and international conservation efforts. Together, we can ensure that future generations will always have the chance to wonder at these gentle giants. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep working for a wilder world. Welcome. Today we're exploring the life and legacy of Harambe, a name that became synonymous with gorilla conservation globally. Born in 1999, Harambe was a 450-pound silverback who eventually became an ambassador for his critically endangered species. In the wild, western lowland gorillas roam the thick forests of Central Africa, a habitat that is increasingly under threat. In 2014, Harambe moved to the Cincinnati Zoo to join a vital breeding program designed to save his species. These programs, often called species survival plans, are the safety nets for animals facing extinction in the wild. From logging to mining, the pressures on gorilla habitats are immense, leaving fewer than 175,000 in the wild. Every gorilla life is vital to maintaining the genetic diversity and social health of the population. The tragic event of 2016 sparked a global conversation that far transcended the zoo's walls. It brought an unprecedented level of attention to the challenges of wildlife protection and enclosure safety. Beyond the headlines, Harambe's story galvanized support for crucial field projects like the Mbeli study. Supported by the Cincinnati Zoo, this is the longest-running field study of wild gorillas in history. Organizations like Gorilla Doctors provide direct medical care, saving individual gorillas in the heart of Africa. The Dian Fossey Gorilla Fund and other partners work tirelessly to protect the environments where these giants live. These collaborative efforts ensure that the Western lowland gorilla has a future beyond the current crisis. You can join the effort. Recycling electronics reduces the demand for mining in critical gorilla habitats. Every donation and every conscious choice supports the rangers and scientists on the front lines. Harambe's name comes from the Swahili word Harambe, which means to pull together as a community. It is a call to action for all of us to pull together to protect the natural world we all share. By honoring his memory through conservation, we ensure that his legacy helps save his wild cousins. In every successful birth and every protected acre of forest, the spirit of Harambe lives on. Thank you for learning about this journey. Let's continue to pull together for the future of wildlife. Together, we can make a difference for Harambe and for the gorillas of the world. Goodbye. Harambe, a name that became a global phenomenon, but its true meaning is often forgotten. To understand the gorilla, we must first understand the word. Harambe comes from Swahili, a language spoken across East Africa. In Swahili, it literally means all pull together. It's a call for unity, for collective effort and strength. In Kenya, Harambe is the national motto, a pillar of their culture that emphasizes helping one another. This powerful philosophy reached a zoo in Texas through the medium of music, specifically the rhythm of reggae. In 1988, Rita Marley released Harambe, a song that brought this message of solidarity to a global audience. It was this very song that inspired Dan Van Coppenol during a naming contest for a baby gorilla in 1999. He felt the name was a perfect tribute to an endangered species, a call for us to pull together and protect them. While history remembers a tragedy, the name Harambe remains a symbol of connection between Africa and the world. It's a reminder that even in the face of loss, the spirit of pulling together can lead us toward a more compassionate future. Remember the name, remember the meaning. Let's pull together. Harambe. Harambe, a name that became a global phenomenon, but who was the real silverback behind the legend? Born in 1999, Harambe was a massive individual weighing over 400 pounds, the weight of 3 adult humans. His strength was legendary. Experts say a silverback like Harambe could crush a coconut in just one hand. They are 10 times stronger than their body weight, capable of lifting nearly 2 tons of weight. Today, his species, the Western lowland gorilla, is critically endangered due to habitat loss and poaching. Harambe's tragedy brought global attention to his kind. Let's honor his legacy by protecting these gentle giants. Harambe's journey was more than just a move. It was a mission for the survival of his species. In September 2014, a major chapter began when Harambe was transferred to the Cincinnati Zoo. Born and raised at the Gladys Porter Zoo in Texas, he had grown into a powerful yet gentle young silverback. The move was part of a critical program to ensure genetic diversity among Western lowland gorillas. In Cincinnati, he was to join a new troop and learn the complexities of leading a gorilla family. He was joined by females Chewy and Mara, marking the start of his adult life as a troop leader. Though his time was cut short, Harambe's story continues to inspire a global movement for gorilla conservation. We remember Harambe, a true icon of his kind, and the lessons he taught us about protecting our natural world. Harambe is a name known worldwide, but few know the story of the family he grew up with. Central to his life was his full brother, Makoko. They shared a bond that only siblings can. Growing up together, Harambe and Makoko were inseparable, learning the ways of their species side by side. Harambe also had several half-siblings and often took on the role of a gentle protector. Many of these early family experiences took place at the Gladys Porter Zoo in Texas. His brother Makoko continues to live on, carrying the genetic legacy of their lineage. Their story reminds us of the deep emotional lives and family ties that all gorillas share. From brothers to half-siblings, the bonds in a gorilla troop are as strong as any human family. We remember Harambe not just as an individual, but as part of a vibrant family story. Thank you for watching this tribute to Harambe and the family he cherished. 2016 was a year that defied all logic, and at the center of it all was a gorilla named Harambe. His death sparked outrage, but the internet turned his tragedy into something much more surreal. Harambe became the symbol of 2016 chaos, blamed for everything from election results to cultural shifts. It was an absurdist coping mechanism for a world that felt like it was tilting on its axis. He morphed into a digital martyr, proving the internet's power to create its own mythology. The Harambe effect still ripples through our culture today, defining how we process the weird and the wild. Looking back, he was the unlikely anchor in 2016's perfect storm. See you in the next one. Stay curious and stay connected. Goodbye for now. In 2016, an incident at the Cincinnati Zoo sparked an internet phenomenon that would define a generation. Harambe wasn't just a gorilla, he became a legend. What started as a tragic news headline quickly morphed into a tidal wave of social media tributes and viral jokes. Harambe became the face of a new kind of absurdist humor where irony and sincerity blurred into one giant collective experience. From Twitter to Reddit, the meme spread like wildfire, influencing everything from political write-ins to global fashion. The impact was so massive that institutions had to react, and the world had to grapple with the power of internet community culture. Years later, Harambe remains a primary artifact of our digital history, a symbol of the chaotic, connected world we live in. Whether he was a hero or a shift in culture, the king of the internet isn't going anywhere. Thanks for joining this trip through internet lore. See you in the next one.